Hi, today I'm going to talk to you about Judy Blume's Blubber, and then we'll do a little overview of the book, and we'll talk about why it is a banned book in most children's literature. So the story of Blubber talks about Jill, who is in 5th grade, and she's just going through all those changes that kind of make you insecure as a child, and she and a group of friends decide to pick on a girl in her class who is a little bit heavier. She tells a book report about whales, and she says the word blubber repeatedly, talking about how, blubber is what they cut off the whales and they use it for this and that. And she just kind of becomes the butt of that joke, and they start to call her Blubber. They terrorize her for weeks on end, and it really reaches a point where Jill has decided it is wrong what they're doing to her, and she at least decides that she should stand up for her in one specific situation. So Jill does that. And in the end, it puts Jill as the one who's getting bullied. It changes the whole situation because the main antagonist, Wendy, decides if you're going to stand up for her in this way, you're going to be the one that's bullied. So then the girl, Linda, who was Blubber, she gets, in the in crowd, and she becomes part of the bullies. So in the end, there's really no resolution of the conflict except for Jill realizes what it feels like to be the one who is bullied. And I will touch on that a little bit later when we talk about why it is banned. So the style of the book is complete sentences. It's written like a diary from Jill's point of view. Jill is the protagonist. She's a very round character. She does see changes in her personality as the story progresses, and she sees what it's like to be on the other side of the bullying. The main antagonist is Wendy. She is the queen bully, if you will, the queen bee. She's flat and static. She doesn't have a whole lot of change. She sticks to what she is the entire book. So the main conflict is, in the beginning, is between Linda, the one that they call Blubber, and her bullies. You can just kind of see it mounting. It doesn't really resolve. There is no, the girls don't get in trouble for what they've done to her. None of that really happens. There's no great resolution, and that will feed into why this is a banned book. So moving on, the pacing is super quick. I want to say it took me about 3 hours to read this book. It's just matter of fact. There's not a whole lot. There is emotion in it, but it's just given to you in a matter-of-fact way that just kind of progresses and helps the book to move quickly. The setting is suburban Pennsylvania in a little neighborhood where it's kind of in the country, kind of in the city, in between there, and it also obviously takes place in the school, in the classroom. Tension is definitely between Jill and Wendy. So Wendy, again, that queen bee kind of figure, and Jill starts to feel a little tension there, and she can tell that, maybe the things that Wendy is doing are wrong, and maybe Wendy isn't loyal to the people that she says that she's loyal to. So the mood, this is a tough one. So I said antagonistic for the mood, right? So Jill feeds into what's going on here and the things that they're doing. Exit on, right? So I said antagonistic. However, if you were to read this story, it's not malicious in its intent. You can tell that the mood is not meant to portray Jill as a bad person. So the theme here, I would say bullying and adversity, also coming of age. They're at that age where they're all a little insecure about certain things about themselves. And when other people feed into that, it makes you even more insecure. And, you know, at some point, Jill does realize that everybody's a little bit different. And that doesn't mean that they need to be treated differently. The illustrations, there's just one illustration, and that is the whale on the cover. Self-explanatory there. The whole whale book report is what started the entire Blubber bullying situation. Yeah, so it was perfect. So let's talk about why it was banned. After doing a little bit of research, I did learn it was banned because of the bullying primarily, right? And also, in addition, there are curse words, and Jill's family allows her to use curse words as long as it's within their home. And obviously, the children's in 5th grade, they're going to use curse words when there's not teachers around. So that's a part of it as well. And on top of that, you know, Jill's mom smokes cigarettes, and it's something that's touched on repeatedly. There is, you know, alcohol use in the book as well. So those are the reasons, right, that are given as to why it was banned. And let me read you some excerpts from the book specifically about the bullying, because that's the main reason that this is banned. So at one point, they're bullying Linda, or Blubber, and Wendy says, "Strip her some more," yanking up Linda's skirt. "Hey, Blubber wears flowered underpants." So that's going to raise some red flags. Then she says, "Do whatever Queen Wendy says, Blubber." Linda bent down and kissed Wendy's sneaker. "Now cut out that stupid crying, and remember, one word to anyone about this and we'll really get you next time." Next, it says, "On Thursday, we made Linda show the boys her underpants. She wasn't anxious to do that, so Caroline had to hold her hands behind her back while Wendy lifted her skirt." So, pulled out as individual excerpts like that, you know, like many of the other authors have talked about in their call-outs, it's going to seem bad, right? It's going to seem like we do not want our kids to read that. We don't want our kids to see this. And so their idea is if they read this, then they're going to learn it, right? They're going to learn these things are okay. But I want to say, you know, I can't speak for all children. Most children are going to read this and say, that was mean. That's wrong. Why would they do that to her, right? So bullying is something that happens and it's taught from inside the home. It's something that a parent passes on to their child, or they see it from the outside world and they internalize it, and it stems off of insecurities. Bullying is always, no matter what we do, no matter how much we censor, it's always going to be a part of lives in young children, teenagers, young adults. It's always going to be there, right? When you censor these kind of books, what you're doing is making those children that are bullied feel like it doesn't happen to other people, right? They're alone. They're isolated. So in censoring these books, you're restricting their ability to see that it does happen to other people, and that it does end at some point, and that it is okay. You know, I feel like most children in reading this book are going to say, Linda should have told her mom. Linda should have told the principal, the teacher. She should have reported these things. And so I feel like by censoring these books, you're restricting the ability of children to escape these bullying situations that are going to be a part of their lives. So that's my spiel about Blubber. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day.